I was listening to a podcast and it was actually a podcast I was listening to today, and I refused to shout them out because I actually reached out to them to help spice up their podcast, and they told me.
Is it black?
No.
Oh.
It's only one black photography podcast I know, which is a black.
Oh, it's a photography podcast. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, gotcha.
And so I was listening to their podcast today, and the photographer was asked, "Do you still get scared when you shoot?" And the person asked him, like, "Do you have any fears, like, when you shoot, when you go to a shoot? Like, how is that?" And the hosts were kind of speaking of that photographers hit them up and say, "Hey, I get scared when I shoot. I'm scared of, like, messing up. I'm scared of doing something wrong. I'm scared of, like, my equipment failing. I'm scared of failing the client." You know what I'm saying? And the photographer who was established, she had at least 4 or 5 years in the game, so to speak. And she established if she was on this platform, let me put it like that. And she talked about, like, yeah, she always gets nervous. And then I was thinking about me. I'm like, damn, I still get nervous at shoots, right? Because I don't know how I'm going to perform. I don't know if everything's going to go the right way sometimes. I don't know if the energy is going to be there. Nothing's worse than when you show up to a photo shoot and somebody's attitude is, like, jacked up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm listening to her talk about these things, and I was like, damn, why are photographers still scared of rejection? Or how do we navigate that story, that journey of rejection? And it's not even photographers. This is actually for entrepreneurs, because a lot of us entrepreneurs are scared, right? We're scared of clients not messing with us. We're scared of, like, hey, let me offer you my service or my brand, or let me, in Key's realm, like, hey, I'm making these shirts, me putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? Will people buy? You know what I'm saying? That's a big step, which is one of the reasons why I used to push you. I'm like, yo, just throw it out there, because a lot of times when you create something, shout out to the long sleeve John.
It's fucking 80 degrees outside.
It is. But it's funny when you do create stuff and you hope people like want support.
Yeah.
Really, you know what it really is. And so you get scared of rejection. So I was listening to this lady today and I was like, man, a lot of times our biggest issues is we don't know how to identify rejection. So, like, every time there's an obstacle, it don't necessarily mean you getting rejected. So let's revert this back to photography, right? Have I ever been rejected? Hell yeah, right? I've reached out to people and said, hey, let me put it like this. My first wedding was because my cousin, shout out to Toya, she reached out to her friend who was getting married and said, I will get you a photographer. Her friend said, cool. I was the photographer. I was 19 at that time. I had never shot inside, let alone shot a wedding before. I had never shot inside. I didn't own a flash. I didn't own nothing. And I just remember going to this wedding and I was not nervous because in my mind, I was like, push come to shove, I can get my dad to give me $400 to give the $400 back to my cousin so she can give it, you know, to the bride as a sorry. And so, shout out to Reg.
Shout out. I was about to say the same thing.
And so, so I wasn't scared. You know what I'm saying? But before then, she wasn't the first person. Shout out to my homegirl Ashley. I don't know if we still homies because I ain't heard from you in 2 years, but it's cool.
You probably pissed her off.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
Gavin be pissing people off, bro.
Oh, I have a story for that.
See,
it's always funny when you have an issue with somebody and you did nothing wrong and they stop talking to you.
I know that all too well.
So, ooh.
No shots out.
Damn, you lucky I don't know how to flag this.
That deal.
Key heard what I said. Sorry, y'all. I didn't know how to mute this shit, so I just turned it off.
Oh, he's shady.
So, identifying if it's an obstacle or rejection is the number one thing I always do. I used to reach out to models. Oh, going back to Ashley. You know, I remember the first time I had reached out, I was going to models saying, hey, can I shoot with you? Can I shoot with you? And it was no. And I remember I went to Ashley. She said yes. And I just kept trying. And I realized certain things, was those rejections? Absolutely. But sometimes, hey, I'm scared of getting rejected well, are you really getting rejected? Can nobody find your website and nobody's find your social media? So it's certain things like that I had to realize, like, maybe it's obstacles, but sometimes you got to identify the rejection. The other thing is you got to understand and accept. If you come to Key right now and say, hey, I want to do your hair, right? And
yeah, he always going for the kill. I know I need my hair done.
No. I like the braids. I always told Key I like the Kim K braids. So keep going, Key. Don't allow the devil to let you get distracted.
You is being the devil right now, but to cut you.
If you come to Key and say, hey, I want to do, can I do your hair? And you've never done hair before.
I'm going to say no.
You have to understand why Key says no. And you have to accept Key saying no. Okay? That's what you got to do sometimes. Sometimes when you got to ask yourself, why do I keep getting rejected by people? Is it because I'm new? Is it because my work isn't good? Is it because of my approach? Shout out to a photographer. You will remain nameless because I don't fucks with you like that. But I remember when you told me that when you used to go out, you used to approach all the pretty women that you would see out and say, hey, I'm a photographer. I would love to take pictures of you. And that's how he grew. I know another guy he loved strip clubs. And he was like, when a girl would dance on him, he would be like, oh, chicks, they always ask you strippers got to stop asking the questions that y'all don't give a fuck about, even though I like them. Right. And strippers always ask you, oh, so what do you do? Okay.
They're trying to build some rapport.
You want to dance?
Right.
It's usually, hey, what's your name? They don't give a fuck about your name. They literally look off.
Oh, they're trying to see if you got some money.
Absolutely. But my name don't scream money.
Gavin, yes, it does. You sound like a rich white man.
Okay, wow. So that I am not. Neither. So they ask you what's your name, what you do, and do you want to dance? That's usually whatever, right? So he used to always tell me, he'd be like, yo, when they ask me what I do, I say I'm a photographer. I show them my work. I make sure they follow me. I follow them, and I offer them photos. So you have to realize, like, hey, you need to understand and accept and understand why you keep getting rejected. It's because nobody knows what you do. Your approach can be different. And you have to kind of just accept it and say, all right, I'm getting rejected because of X. How do I change X? Mm-hmm. So part about navigating rejection is figuring out why you keep getting rejected and saying, all right, how the hell do I navigate this? And I'm going to give y'all a little story in a minute, but we'll get there. And then, it's a lot of unique things because you can find unique ways of saying, hey, how do I grow in this moment?
Yeah.
A lot of times, I remember when I was young and I first started out in photography, I'm at church, I'm walking in, I see two niggas I don't like, and
at church, you see how he do? That would be with Gavin at church too. Don't make no sense.
Absolutely. And so I see these two niggas I don't like. I have to state that again. And because one dude's his wife, man, she was just messy. I remember I ran to her at the new church I went to. I told my mom, I said, we gotta go. And I found this church. And so anyway, I was talking, he came up to me, he said, hey man, do you do photography? I heard you do photography. I was like, yes, sir. I gave him a card and it caught him off guard. Mind you, I hated cards. I didn't want to do cards. I didn't want to pass out cards.
Business cards?
Mm-hmm. Mind you, at this time, I'm like 18, 19. So, business cards were still popping. But at the same time, nobody around my age really had business cards. And I remember him being so shocked that I had a business card, threw him off. And it made me realize, like, damn, maybe people weren't taking me serious. Because when I got started, to give people a little bit more backstory. When I first got started, people weren't taking me serious because I was 18. I was 19. Now, 18, 19-year-olds, they're doing people's weddings. They're doing boudoir. They're freaking, they're going out and doing graduations. They shooting for publications. But when I was 18, you wasn't doing nobody's wedding. Nobody was sitting there having a contract with you, having conversation with you when you was 18. And maybe it's, for me, I feel like it has changed a lot. The way you 16, 17, 18-year-olds is doing shit now, y'all different, and shout out to y'all. But for me, I understood my rejection was coming from age. Now, you can't grow from age. Literally, you can. So that's a bad thing. But some of the other things was, my growth was I had to show people I was super mature. So I had to overcompensate. So yes, I did get a website super early. Yes, I had business cards super early. All of these things were trash, but I had to have it to show people like, hey, I'm here. And I had to learn how to navigate those things. So when it came down to say, hey, how was I finding new clients? I was reaching out to people saying, hey, I'm a photographer. I would literally give you free shoots. I did my first shoot I ever got paid for. Shout out to Justin. I'm praying for you and your family at this during this hard time. But I remember I was talking to Justin and I was like, yo, I do your graduation pictures. Bruh, his shoot was almost 3 hours. I got paid $25 total. But it was something real. And his mama told me I deserve a tip, and Justin did not. I actually got Justin change. He gave me 220s, and he was like, oh, I need change. I said, damn it, Justin. But anyway, it's cool, though. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn how to overcompensate. You know what I'm saying? That's the things that rejection will teach you, and you got to do. So there's this thing, speaking of growth, I was actually talking to a director of a gallery recently, and we was talking about SWOT analysis. Do you know what a SWOT analysis? Do y'all do that work? Okay, guess not. For those who not know, a SWOT analysis is what a lot of businesses do, unless you work wherever Key works at. Both jobs, clearly. And a SWOT analysis is S.W.O.T. Shout out to the Ritz-Carlton. They taught me this, and it has always stuck with me. And I've literally done this at every job I've left, even my own business. I said every job that I've left.
It's probably something similar to that. I don't think it's been called that name.
Oh, SWOT analysis stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. First of all, I will encourage every photographer to do a SWOT analysis on their business.
SWOT analysis. Y'all heard that, right?
It got stuck, and I was trying to move my tongue so fast, and I could not pause.
Wait a minute.
So you should take your photography business and say, hey, what are my strengths? You should take your photography business and figure out what is your weaknesses. And this ain't the time to be cute. You need to figure out what opportunities do you have to become a better business. Excuse me. And you need to figure out what's the biggest threats to your business. So for me, what is one of my biggest strengths? I'm very personable. You're going to get a lot of personality. We're going to have a lot of fun when you shoot me. Trust me, it's a lot of photographers who are not like that. And I understand that. And that doesn't mean they're any less qualified. You're not going to get that. What's one of my business weaknesses? Well.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know. What the fuck is one of my business weaknesses?
This guy. Why people always do that when we try to think of a weakness? Oh, what is one of my weaknesses?
Well, I know what my weaknesses is. I just don't know if I want these niggas to know.
The point is he has some.
I talk a lot of shit.
That's a weakness?
Yeah, because it turns a lot of people off. And I'm cool with, I've learned that. But one of my other weaknesses is I'm not as creative as I could be and should be. Right. So what's the opportunity for my business? The opportunity for my business is to say, hiring a creative director. Was that our group chat? Mm-hmm. Oh, it was Brittany doing a workout.
Oh, yeah.
So, that. What's a threat? COVID was a threat to my business. Clearly.
You could take an art class.
I could. I don't want to. I'm done with classes. I'm taking so many damn classes.
I can help its creativity.
What you doing next Wednesday? We can't do a pod next Wednesday. Oh, we can't anyway because the space getting rented out. But I'm going to the concert next Wednesday. If you free.
He's so random.
So, that's some things everybody should be doing a SWOT analysis every year on your business. I encourage you to. I promise you, if you can make these lists and you be real. Also, don't be afraid to reach out to some people that you work with and say, hey, can you help me with these things? Can you explain? Can you give me some things that you thought my business lacked in? And see if it's a weakness. And it'll help you with the rejection and understanding. So once you understand all these things, once you do have that SWOT analysis, once you do understand that how shit has been going wrong, now it's time to make some adjustments, right? It's time to say, all right, I'm getting rejected because my portfolio sucks. So now how do I do this? I've told people this before. If you're a new photographer, especially starting out, you have family somewhere that needs free pictures. You'd be surprised. You do have some friend somewhere that needs new pictures. You'd be surprised. Okay, Gavin, I live in the most random place. No friends or family here. Nobody wants pictures. Okay, cool. You need to start paying people to take pictures of them. Build your portfolio. It's ways of getting around that. Gavin, I can't find new clients. Well, is it a marketing issue? You know what I'm saying? And I know I just said that, but do you have marketing issues? Are you doing, my wife was telling me, she was like, oh, you and Key should do radio ads for the podcast. I felt like you said that before too. Mm-hmm. And I told my wife, I was like, well, a lot of people, radio ads sound cool, but Spotify ads sound better. You know what I'm saying? And the money part. So some of it is like.
It should be expensive too.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of shit is expensive. Having a podcast is expensive. You know what I'm saying? But some of those things are saying like, are we making mistakes in marketing Is it other ways of doing things? So find out ways you can adjust and make that shit happen. And the last thing, make a fucking plan. Excuse my language. I know a lot of y'all out here listening like, what the hell? Whether it's photography, whether you're an esthetician, whether you're a hairstylist, whether you're a makeup artist, whether you're a model, whether you're a model and you're trying to grow, you should be doing the same thing for your personal brand, for you as a person. You know, planning is essential, and you have to change the perception of your business if you keep getting rejected. You got to change the perception of yourself to people if you keep getting rejected. If you keep getting, every door. One of the worst things was I was never getting callbacks for job interviews. And me and Amir was actually talking about this. And I remember one day I'm sitting at work and one of the girls, nothing's funnier than when everybody at work is looking for a job at the same time. and it's like your boss has no idea. And I remember when I was at Marriott, all four of us was looking at jobs and all four of us was taking bets on who was leaving in what order. And I remember everybody left before me and I was pissed. But when it was my time, I got up out of there. But I remember I'm trying to leave and me and this girl was talking. One of the girls who's there, shout out to Whitney, she always looked out. And Whitney was like, yo, let me see your resume. My resume. I would have rejected my resume. It was so awful. And she laughed. She was like, do you mind if I mark this up? And I was like, yeah, do your thing. Because Whitney had that unique way of like, I'm not going to embarrass you. Oh, gosh.
Who calling you?
You'll see.
They keep on calling me.
Hello? Nothing much. Can I call you back? I'm on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, then I hit you back when I get done.
All right, love you.
Love you too.
Oh, it's Reggie.
Bye. He hung up.
He did. I don't think he heard me.
I don't know why I didn't connect. Anyway, but Whitney looks at my resume, she marks it up, she gives it back, and then I start getting calls back. And I realized why I was getting rejected. So keep those things in mind, make your plans, and then you got to get over this whole fear of being rejected is something that photographers and entrepreneurs have to get over. Being an entrepreneur is not for the weak. If you have fear of being rejected or being told no or being told this ain't for you, then this ain't for you.
Unless you can overcome it.
Because you're gonna have to learn to. You're gonna have to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you, Key is absolutely correct. But be prepared to work. If you're not willing to overcome it, then don't even get here. Because a lot of times fear is not always a bad thing. Fear shows that you care. Fear shows that you're interested. Fear shows that you are willing. You're paying attention to moving parts. So a lot of times when you have fear of certain things, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world, but you have to learn to overcome those fears or willing to face them. And being an entrepreneur will teach you that. I did a mini session one time. This last mini session I did, it got sold out because people knew I was about to take some months off. The one before that, I got nobody. You know what I'm saying? I've done photo shoots where the client just didn't show. I've had photo shoots where people ask for their money back. I think I got a shoot next week from a person who thought they was about to get their money back, but she got a no. But I've reached out when I was doing my albinism awareness thing. I reached out to publications like, hey, can y'all please write a story? Can y'all please talk about this? I got told no from black publications, from white publications, from black photography publications. Being told no from a black photography publication because, we are prepared to take the rest of the year off and I see y'all doing new shit every week. It's interesting. You know what I'm saying? Reaching out to Charlotte stuff and saying, hey, here, finally, there's a story to be written about a person actually from Charlotte who actually lived here, who hasn't left, who's actually creating, opportunities here and trying to help other people create jobs during the middle of a pandemic and being told, nah, we good on it. It's interesting. When I started this pod, I remember when I first started this pod, I told other photographers reached out to me and said, why?
Why are you starting a podcast?
Yeah, why are you trying to, literally, I had one photographer who asked, y'all seemingly love to kiss. Bruh told me, why are you trying to help these niggas? And I was like, because I want to.
The person that blocked us.
Nah.
We've been blocked.
You know who it was. Huh? So it's funny, like how all this shit works. You know, you get in these situations. So don't be afraid of rejection. Rejection's gonna come. It will. This too shall pass. I think that's the scripture. I'm not for sure.